welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy you're here. Happy Bookmas. For today's video, I decided I wanted to make myself a little bit of a winter TBR. I don't do monthly TBRs very much because I don't normally get to the books that I picked. I'm very heavily a mood reader, but that's why I like doing seasonal TBRs instead, because I like to read fall books in the fall and like wintry books in the winter. Obviously, that is why I decided I wanted to share with you guys my winter TBR today. I have 10 books for you because I don't know, 10 just felt good. 10 felt right, so that is what we're gonna get to. Also, I know it's not technically winter yet. I'm pretty sure winter like solstice is on like December 20th or like the 21st, something like that. But I think we can all agree that it's like as soon as Thanksgiving is over, it's just winter time. And for me, that goes all the way until February, which I'm pretty sure it's actually until March. But for me, it like ends. Once February is over, we're going into spring. But I don't know. That's besides the point, because in Texas, like we don't even really get a true winter here until literally like mid-February, early February. So yeah, all right, enough of my yapping. Let's just go ahead and get straight into the TBR. If you see me keep looking down, I actually made my list on my laptop so that I could tell you guys about these and not forget about them, because a lot of them I want to go into blind, but I want to share with you some of the key points of each. So I also have that on there. Okay, so my first book on my winter TBR is We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kleur. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but this is my first book on my TBR. I am not normally much of a thriller girly. Every time I read them, they disappoint me, but this one looks very promising to me and I've heard a lot of good things about it. In this book, we're following a couple who flips houses and they get a really good deal on this very pretty old house. It's like almost too good to be true. And one day while they're flipping and like working on renovating the house, a family comes knocking on the door claiming to have lived in this house years ago, and they now have children and they want to show their children around their house. And so the couple lets them in, but as soon as they are in the house, things start going awry. I love a good like haunted house situation. Not that this is like a haunted house. I don't know. One of my favorite books by Freida McFadden, which I don't normally like her books, had to do with like being stuck in a house. And so for some reason, I like that kind of stuff. So I'm excited to see what this one has in store. I've also heard that the twist is really twisting in this one. And one thing about me is if I can guess the ending of a thriller or a mystery, I'm gonna rate it probably less than 3 stars. So I will keep you updated on that one. Next, I have Misery by Stephen King. I just recently watched the movie because it was turned into a movie around Halloween. And I really, really loved the movie. And normally I am a read the book before the movie kind of girl, but it was kind of just a spur of the moment decision to watch the movie. And I really loved it. And so I think that since I loved it so much, I can get into the book. Because sometimes when I watch a movie before reading the book, I just won't even pick up the book because I'm like, I already know what happens. But with this one, I feel like we're gonna get like more in depth and stuff, and so I'm really excited for it. In this book, we follow a best-selling, world-renowned author. He is known for like his romance series, I'm pretty sure. And one day he goes out into a snowstorm where he gets into an accident, but by some miracle, someone saves him and he wakes up in this cottage. There's still a snowstorm happening, and in walks Annie. Annie is the girl who saved him from the wreckage and is also his nurse, nursing him back to health while she waits for the hospitals to open. Annie is supposedly his #1 fan. She loves everything he's ever written, and she is a little bit kind of crazily obsessed with this guy. So he is kind of trapped here in this cabin until he meets the demands of Annie regarding his latest book. Like I said, I really, really love this movie. I rated the movie 4 stars, and so I have very high hopes for this. I think it's gonna be a fast-paced book. It's also, obviously, with the snowstorm, it's like set, yeah, obviously. The vibes are there. The third book on my TBR is The Ministry of Time by Kayleigh Bradley, I think is what it is. This book has been around for a while and I've been wanting to read it for a while. It is kind of like a time travel novel meets romance meets thriller, where this British government has discovered time travel and they create a ministry of time to try and experiment with it. So they bring in these expats that are people that were like on the brink of death to try and experiment with time travel. That is where we meet our two main characters. This just sounds so cool and twisted and fun, and I like that it is kind of like genre bending in a way. So I'm really excited about this one. I have been dying to get to it, and I really hope that I can get to it this month. Not this month, but this season. Next, I have Small Things Like These by Claire Keegan. This is set in 1985 in an Irish town. It takes place in the weeks leading up to Christmas, following a coal merchant who one day is going to a convent to, you know, deliver the coal. He's there, he makes this discovery that faces him to confront his past, as well as this town that is very controlled by the church. This is a very short book, but it's also really highly rated. Obviously very renowned for the themes that it has in there. I'm pretty sure it has themes of this man, our main character, kind of like defeating a system of ongoing abuse. And so I'm pretty sure regarding the church. I don't know, like genuinely, I hope I'm not like speaking out of turn here. Okay, our fifth book is kind of cheating. I didn't want to put any Christmas books on here, but this one was on my like highly anticipated releases for this year, so I feel like I have to do it, and that is Good Spirits by B.K. Borson. First, can we just like appreciate this? It's so pretty. Oh my gosh, like I'm obsessed. Anyways, in this book, we're following the Ghost of Christmas Past, which is our male main character. His name is Nolan. His newest assignment is our female main character, Harriet. But as they're digging into her past, they start unraveling these like threads that they were kind of like tied to each other all along. Obviously, it's a what is it called? I can only think of Scrooge. A Christmas Carol. I couldn't think of anything besides Scrooged, which is still kind of the same thing, but it is obviously a Christmas Carol retelling, but make it romance, and it just sounds so fun, and I love B.K. Borson's writing so much, so I'm excited to get into this one. I'm probably gonna read it very, very soon with like Christmas literally right around the corner. All right, my next book is The Favorites by Lane Fargo. I actually do have this one from Book of the Month, but my dog ate the dust jacket, so I'm just gonna put this over here because it's not visually appealing. I have tried to read this book, I think 2 times. I've picked it up 2 separate times and I just couldn't get into it, but I know that I'm gonna like it a lot. Like I just know it has everything that I would like in a romance book, and a lot of people with similar book tastes as me really love this one. So I think I just need to kind of like lock in with it, to be honest. In this book, we're following Kat, who from a very young age is destined to be an Olympic skater. And one day she meets our male main character, Heath. He is a boy in the foster system. And it turns out the two have undeniable chemistry on and off the ice. So they become skating partners, and they are like really famous and world renowned for the things that they do, until one day their partnership comes to an end because of like an incident. I'm not really sure what the incident is. I'm sure it's a spoiler, but apparently they are like really world renowned until something happens, and then they just like, so it sounds really good. Like all the drama, all the romance, it just sounds really fun. And obviously I feel like, I'm not sure if this one's set during the winter, but I feel like ice skating, I feel like it's just the perfect time to read that. Next, I have Behind the Net by Stephanie Archer. This is a hockey romance, grumpy sunshine. In this book, we're following our female main character, who is fired from her job, so she becomes the assistant to an NHL player, who is our male main character. That is literally all I know about it. It's an interconnected standalone series. This is the first book. I'm pretty sure people like the second book more, but if there's one thing about me is I'm gonna have to read the first book before I get to the second book, even though you really don't have to because they're interconnected. It doesn't really matter. It has been a hot minute since I've read a hockey romance, and I feel kind of out of the loop with this series because everyone is reading it and I didn't hear about it until recently. So I'm super excited to read it. I love a grumpy sunshine. I love a sports romance, obviously. You can see Liz Tomford back there, but I'm excited to pick up back into my hockey romance era. All right, my 8th book is Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. Only reason I have this on here is because it is the last Ali Hazelwood book I have to read to have read her whole like backlist. Besides like her newest novella, her like little bundle of novellas, and Mate, because I didn't like Bride, so I'm not gonna read Mate. But this is the last one that I have to read in the STEM romances, I guess I could say. So really this probably has nothing to do with winter or anything like that. I just decided that I want to finish her backlist. So I'm pretty sure that this is like a school, or like, I'm pretty sure this is like a rivals or like enemies to lovers. We're following Bee and Levi in this book. They went to school together, and that is where they found out that they are arch nemesis. They are arch enemies, and that they shouldn't be working together until, I guess, later on after grad school, they start working together. Obviously there's tension there, and they don't like each other until one day there's a like lab equipment gone missing, so they pair up together to try and find out who took it. Now, I'm pretty sure this is majority of people's least favorite Ali Hazelwood book. That's probably why I haven't read it yet, to be honest. I feel like, to me, like Ali Hazelwood can do no wrong. So I feel like there's just no way this could be any less than 3 stars. I love Ali Hazelwood so, so much. But I'm not gonna let that get in my head. I'm gonna have a fun time reading it. I know I am. So we're just gonna walk into it without that preconceived notion. Alrighty, our second to last book is yet another hockey romance, but it's also the last. This is Heated Rivalry by Rachel Reed. This is a MLM, a LGBT hockey romance, and we are following the captain of the Montreal Voyageurs. His name is Shane, and he has kind of like this famous feud or like rivalry against the Boston Bears captain Ilya. So like I said, they are famous for this rivalry, but off the ice they're anything but rivals. To me it just sounds really, really good. I have no other reason to like say I want to read this besides that. Like I said, something about hockey books right now are really intriguing me, I guess. So also an enemies to lovers is literally gonna do it for me every single time. Like I don't care. Last but not least, I have Little Women by no other than Louisa May Alcott. I'm pretty sure that this was on my winter TBR last year and I never got to it, but Little Women has such a special place in my heart. I've never read the book, which I feel like is just diabolical, to be honest, because I love Little Women, specifically the 2019 film. If you don't know what Little Women is about, in this book we are following 4 sisters who are all very different. We're following Meg, Jo, Amy, and Beth during the American Civil War, and it's really just like a search for each of their individual aspirations. Like I said, they're all very different. To me, this is very much a slice of life kind of novel. I don't know, something about it just, I really adore it, and so I feel like I really need to read the book. Literally, the 2019 film is probably in my top 4. So I feel like I can't say that it's my favorite until I've read the book, and a lot of it is taking place during the winter, so I feel like it's just the perfect time to read it. Something about also reading a classic during the winter is such a flex. Don't tell me how those two correlate, but they do in my mind, and I honestly feel like I'm gonna get to it this year. I'm gonna get to it this year. Yes, it was on my list last year, but I'm gonna get to it this year, like genuinely. I'm making promises I can't keep, by the way. Alrighty, that concludes my winter TBR. I'm super, super excited for winter reads. Something about summer reading and winter reading really just gets me hyped. I don't know why. Those are literally 2 different extremes, but I also just realized that I didn't have a lot of fantasy on this list, which normally I feel like I do the bulk of my fantasy reading in winter, so we shall see. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in for another day of Bookmas. I'll see you right back here tomorrow for the next day of Bookmas. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'll see you later. Bye.